Welcome to the Past in Pictures channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. The photograph captures a farewell moment between a soldier and his loved one, symbolizing the human impact of World War II in the 1940s. This global conflict, which began in 1939, caused massive military mobilization and family separation, shaping history through deep social and political changes in the post-war world. Anna Coleman Ladd became known for creating prosthetic masks for soldiers with severe facial injuries during World War I, an important milestone for medicine and rehabilitation. Her work helped restore the identity and dignity of service members, turning medical treatment into a path toward social reintegration. Unemployed women mobilized in the 1930s demanding jobs in public works, highlighting the exclusion of single women from the labor market. This struggle took place during the Great Depression, when public policies tried to reduce unemployment, but often ignored vulnerable groups such as these women. After a major natural disaster, flooding made the situation even worse, causing significant damage in tropical regions with affected rural areas. This 20th century event revealed how vulnerable local communities were to extreme events, leading to improvements in prevention and public response. Francesco Lentini was born with a rare physical condition and entered the vaudeville circuit as the Great Lentini in the 1890s, a period when human curiosity shows were becoming popular. This setting reflected a society fascinated by unusual phenomena. German Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg led the Valkyrie plot in 1944, a movement meant to overthrow the German leader and weaken his authoritarian government. The attempt failed and led to harsh repression, but it symbolized internal resistance against the German regime during World War II. Grigory Rasputin gained major influence in Imperial Russia before 1917, especially with the family of Tsar Nicholas II. In 1914, his presence and followers reflected the controversial impact he had on political and religious decisions, contributing to the instability that came before the Russian Revolution. Red Army soldiers rest on the island of Bornholm, which came under Soviet control on May 9, 1945, after attacks that hit residential areas. The Soviet presence marked the end of World War II for the region, and the island was returned to Denmark on April 5, 1946, symbolizing the transition from conflict to peace. Sophia Loren, a symbol of Italian cinema, reflects post-war glamour in Venice in 1955, when Italy was rebuilding its cultural and artistic identity. Her charm helped raise Italian cinema on the world stage, especially after the neo-realist movement that defined the previous decade and influenced art and fashion. Soldiers of the Royal Hungarian Army in 1938 served during a period marked by tensions before World War II, when Hungary sought to recover territories lost after the Treaty of Trianon in 1920. This setting drove national rearmament and strategic alliances that influenced the course of the global conflict. Soldiers in trenches during World War II hold bottles of Coca-Cola, a symbol that became associated with the United States war effort beginning in 1941. This strengthened the brand's image around the world, linking it to troop morale and consumer culture during wartime. An elderly woman who fled the war zone sits with her cow in Amiens, France, on March 28, 1918, during World War I. This date falls within the Spring Offensive, when the war brought large-scale destruction and displacement, affecting civilians and expanding international awareness of the conflict. Three boys sit in a cart on a residential street in Pittsburgh between 1920 and 1930, a period marked by industrial and urban growth. This phase reshaped American city life, expanding the working class and influencing deep social and cultural changes. Slogans tied to the debate over abortion reflect the intense social discussion in Europe during the final decades of the 20th century, when groups with opposing positions demonstrated in the streets and in public policy debates. This discussion was crucial in modernizing laws and expanding conversations about health and rights in many countries. Wilhelm Reich created the orgone accumulator in the 1950s, intending to capture a supposed life energy to promote well-being. His work, though controversial and questioned by mainstream science, marked a time when people were trying to understand the body and mind through invisible energies. Geronimo was an Apache leader and warrior, known for his resistance to United States expansion into indigenous lands. In 1904, in St. Louis during the World's Fair, he and his group took part in exhibits that presented their traditions, putting the struggle and culture of Native peoples on display during a crucial moment in American and international history. Jimmy Carter, future President of the United States, appears working with his children on his peanut farm in 1960 before his political career. This rural experience strengthened his commitment to family farming and influenced his policies related to rural development and social rights in the country. Before becoming one of the most respected actors in film, Al Pacino faced personal difficulties and a police incident in 1961. This little-known event reveals the challenges of youth that shaped the post-war generation, marking a period when many young people lived under strong social instability. The aircrew mascot of the Cressy Royal Air Force Flying School symbolizes pilot training during World War II in 1943. This school was crucial in preparing air crews who made an important contribution to the Allied effort, strengthening British military aviation during the global conflict. Members of the Royal Hungarian Army in 1938 served during a period marked by tensions before World War II, when Hungary sought to recover territories lost after the Treaty of Trianon in 1920. This setting drove national strengthening and strategic alliances that influenced the course of the international situation. The Most Unusual Woman in the United Kingdom, awarded to Hattie, the Mad Hatter Matters in 1883, reflects Victorian culture shaped by entertainment and popular curiosity. This distinction shows how society at the time valued images tied to exaggeration and strangeness, influencing the representation of women in media and art. Known for his role as a Texas Ranger, Pat Garrett became famous for capturing the outlaw Billy the Kid in 1881, an important milestone in Old West history. His career symbolizes the fight for order during a time marked by expansion and conflict in Texas, influencing the culture of the period. Gall, a Hunkpapa Sioux leader, was photographed in 1881 at Fort Buford, North Dakota, shortly after the end of the Great Indian Wars in the United States. His resistance marked the struggle against American expansion in the West, culminating in the Battle of Little Bighorn in 1876, a crucial event that showed indigenous resistance. Samurai warriors had represented Japan's military elite for centuries, and in 1900 still displayed their traditional armor as a symbol of honor and discipline. This period marks the transition after the Meiji Restoration, when Japan left the feudal system behind and modernized its army, bringing the samurai era to a final close. The German airship Hindenburg flies over Manhattan near the Empire State Building on August 8, 1936, symbolizing technological advances in aviation and air travel. The Hindenburg represented the peak of airships in its time, but its 1937 disaster changed the safety and public image of that form of transportation forever. A woman beside her cheetah in a Paris cafe highlights the eccentricity and social freedom that existed before World War II. In 1932, Paris was a central hub of artistic and cultural avant-garde movements that influenced the world and encouraged major social and behavioral changes. On April 11, 1977, animal trainer Olga Borisova appears in a record made in the Soviet Union, a period when animal performances were still part of state entertainment. The scene reflects the visibility of these shows within Soviet culture during the Cold War. The The captured scene reflects New York urban culture in the 1980s, when the subway was marked by graffiti and youth gangs that influenced the city's identity. This era highlighted the struggle for public safety and system renewal, driving future investment to modernize transportation and reduce crime. Marilyn Monroe married James Dougherty, her 21-year-old neighbor, when she was 16 in 1942, before becoming a global icon. This early marriage marked the beginning of her adult life, but it did not stop her from reinventing herself and becoming one of the biggest movie stars of the 20th century. American actress and model Edie Williams posed in a London park on February 10, 1972, reflecting 1970s fashion with an animal print bikini and a hairstyle typical of the time. In that decade, pop culture and fashion expressed greater freedom and major social change in the West. Cher stood out on the Oscar red carpet in 1973, reflecting the peak of the glam rock era in theatrical style. The awards ceremony, the annual event of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, strengthened her cultural influence and set fashion trends, highlighting the importance of the event for global artistic recognition. Audrey Hepburn, an icon of classic film, was shooting How to Steal a Million in 1966, a period marked by cultural change and innovative style. This movie reflects the peak of a new era in European and American cinema, influencing fashion and social behavior through sophisticated and playful characters, and strengthening Hepburn as a symbol of glamour. Tippi Hedren, a movie star, starred in the classic suspense film The Birds, directed by Alfred Hitchcock in 1963, marking an important moment in cinema by exploring tension through the unusual behavior of birds. This innovative work deeply influenced the genre and secured the actress's place in film history. The 1987 issue of Sports Illustrated highlighted Kathy Ireland, a model who symbolized 1980s pop culture with her striking style. This edition helped popularize models as celebrities, influencing fashion and media while also expanding the magazine's global reach in sports and entertainment. Nena von Schlebrugge stands out as a symbol of 1950s fashion and culture, a period marked by social change and the growth of pop culture. Her legacy influenced future generations, including her daughter Uma Thurman, who became famous in film, reflecting changes in the role of women and artists in society. The reference to Leonardo DiCaprio in 1995 highlights a milestone in film when the actor was building his career with movies like Romeo and Juliet and Titanic. This period pushed his global fame forward, influencing pop culture and youth behavior in the decade with a style and attitude reflected in the scene. Pop culture icons of the 1990s, Kathy Griffin and Jack Black symbolized the energy of that decade, shaped by the growth of television and music entertainment. This period saw the rise of comedy shows and alternative music culture, influencing generations and expanding the global celebrity market. Charlie Chaplin, an icon of silent film, stood out in the early 20th century by creating characters who blended humor with social criticism, especially in the context of the Great Depression, when his work tried to emotionally connect audiences through stories of hope. Elvis Presley, a rock icon, returned from military service in 1960 and strongly resumed his career at the start of the decade while living at Graceland, his famous mansion in Memphis. This period marked the peak of his cultural and musical influence, which changed popular music and youth behavior, securing his legendary status. Disney animators observed Dalmatian dogs while creating the film 101 Dalmatians, released in 1961, an important milestone in animation for introducing a more realistic and detailed style. This technique raised the quality of animated work and influenced the film industry with characters that felt more true to life. Professionals in the 1950s tested lipstick to make sure it lasted and looked true in color before release. This practice was crucial to the rise of the modern cosmetics industry, influencing standards of quality and beauty that shaped global makeup consumption in the following decades. Pan Am first-class service aboard the Boeing 747 in the 1980s symbolizes the golden age of international commercial aviation, when airlines invested in luxury to attract passengers. The 747, introduced in 1970, changed long-distance travel by increasing accessibility and comfort, influencing the growth of global tourism. Employees at the Trans World Airlines service counter at Idlewild Airport in New York dealt with the rapid growth of commercial air travel after World War II, a time when flying was becoming more accessible and driving the modernization of airport services around the world. The setting suggests a commercial flight in the 1980s with passengers dressed formally, reflecting an era when air travel began to become much more common. The growing accessibility of air transportation was an important milestone for globalization, making cultural and economic exchange between continents easier. Thousands of beachgoers packed the Coney Island shoreline in New York during summers in the 1950s, creating one of the most iconic scenes of American leisure. The sea of beach umbrellas reflects post-war economic prosperity and the growth of the working class. The crowded scene shows the peak of mass culture. Chevy Vega cars were transported by the Southern Pacific Railroad Company in specially designed rail cars called Vert à Passe, an innovation that appeared in the 1970s to improve auto shipping. This logistics advance marked an era of efficiency in rail transportation, making large-scale distribution easier for the American auto industry. Electric streetcars were taken out of service by General Motors in California in 1956, marking the decline of urban rail-based public transportation in the United States. This event symbolizes the shift toward the dominance of motor vehicles and shaped city expansion and the growing use of private cars in the following decades. Before refrigerators became common, the delivery of large blocks of ice was essential for keeping food fresh in homes. In the 1930s, this service allowed families to preserve their food, directly influencing household habits and the refrigeration industry that would grow quickly in the following decades. The straw hat radio, dated 1931, symbolizes the technological innovation of the early 20th century, when radio was already beginning to transform global communication. This handmade invention anticipated the social impact of radio, which expanded access to information and entertainment and changed mass cultural habits. Auto Pushball, presented at the Canadian National Exhibition in 1925, symbolizes the age of automotive innovation in the early 20th century. This technology fair highlighted industrial advances that drove mass vehicle production, transforming transportation and the global economy by making the automobile part of everyday life. The 1957 Trans-Antarctic Expedition marked a historic moment in polar exploration by demonstrating the use of adapted vehicles to cross glacial crevasses in Antarctica. This effort was crucial in expanding geographic and scientific knowledge of the frozen continent, contributing to important climate and geological research. The Basilica of La Sagrada Família, begun in 1882, represents a landmark of Catalan modernist architecture designed by Antoni Gaudí. In 1905, still under construction, it symbolized Spain's cultural ambition, and to this day, it remains a tourist and religious icon and one of the great treasures of World Historic Heritage. The original Hollywoodland sign, unveiled in 1923, marked the beginning of the movie era in Los Angeles by turning the area into a global cultural symbol. Its importance lies in the way it helped establish Hollywood as the center of the entertainment industry, promoting the growth of film and urban development around the iconic sign. Red Square in Moscow, recorded in 1856, shows a crucial moment in Imperial Russia, close to the final stage of the emancipation of the serfs in 1861. This period marked the decline of the feudal system and drove social and economic reforms that transformed the country and prepared it for modernization. Games and entertainment already existed in South Asia 4,000 years ago, as shown by terracotta finds from Harappa in present-day Pakistan. This discovery reveals the urban cultural development of the Indus Valley, one of the earliest centers of civilization, influencing playful and social practices. Soldiers march beneath the walls of the Kremlin, the setting for traditional Soviet military parades of the 20th century. These events displayed power and discipline, helping establish the Soviet Union as a superpower. The Kremlin symbolizes the center of Russian political and military power, showing the importance of these displays in world history. King Faisal, a central figure in Middle Eastern politics, was in London in the late 1960s, a time marked by stronger diplomatic ties between Arab and Western countries. His role was crucial to the modernization of Saudi Arabia and to shaping the geopolitical landscape, including tensions tied to oil. The use of a giant camera indoors suggests a photographic record from the 1920s to the 1930s, a period when photography began to become popular as a social and historical document. This advance made detailed documentation of events possible and helped spread visual culture in Germany. The film Crime Without Passion, starring Claude Rains, premiered in 1934, marking an important moment in early film noir, which influenced the portrayal of moral conflict through a deeper psychological approach. This genre expanded the way suspense stories were told. The autochrome color photograph made by Jules Gervais Cortellemont in 1924 shows a woman wearing traditional clothing from the province of Toledo, Spain. In the 1920s, portraits like this preserved regional culture in a country that combined modernization with tradition. Weddings in the early 20th century were usually formal and memorable ceremonies in which the bride and groom wore elegant clothing, such as a long dress with a veil and classic dark suits, symbolizing social prestige. During this period, photography began recording these moments, preserving traditions and strengthening family bonds. The formal portrait of a woman with a long dress and fur collar reflects the late 19th and early 20th century, a period when photography was becoming more accessible and capturing social and cultural change. The growing value placed on the individual image marked a new era in the representation of identity and social status. A woman working in the hay harvest in Cogne, Italy, portrays rural daily life in 1959, a period when traditional agriculture still dominated the country's mountain regions. This practice reflected local subsistence before industrialization expanded, preserving cultural and economic values essential to the alpine community. A rural scene in Cornwall, England, highlights local tradition by showing two young women running at high speed with sheep in 1969, a period marked by social and cultural change in the United Kingdom. This record shows a country lifestyle that existed alongside growing urban modernization. A steam train passes through the densely populated homes of Kensal Rise in London in March 1921, a period marked by rapid urbanization after World War I. This fast growth in British cities drove the development of railway transportation. Visitors cross the Capilano Suspension Bridge in British Columbia, Canada, in an image captured around 1919, when the bridge was a tourist and engineering landmark that made access to the local wilderness easier. This structure helped develop tourism and contact with nature in the early 20th century. Visitors in Tennessee pose on Umbrella Rock at Lookout Mountain around 1860, a period close to the Battle of Missionary Ridge, a crucial event of the American Civil War that took place in 1863. That battle marked an important turning point, securing victory for the Union and weakening the Confederacy. Oil workers take a lunch break on a Texas platform in 1939, a year marked by the growth of the oil industry that boosted both the local and national economy. This growth accelerated the industrial transformation of the United States, making oil a crucial element in economic and military development. Mr. and Mrs. Leslie Bryant represent civilian adaptation during the industrial boom caused by World War II in Bath, Maine in December 1940. The use of a trailer reflects the mobility forced by the war, which was essential to the growth of war industries in New England, speeding up the local economy and changing traditional ways of life. In the 1940s, domestic life adapted to the difficulties of World War II when housewives cared for clothing with limited resources, including long johns, a type of thermal underwear essential for the cold. This period reinforced the value of women's work in maintaining the home during global challenges. The Moody and Goodman Company promoted products such as Coca-Cola and candy, reflecting the growth of commerce and advertising in the early 20th century. The growing popularity of Coca-Cola, already clear at that time, influenced worldwide consumption and the beverage industry, building a brand that would become a global cultural symbol. Steinway & Sons, a manufacturer known around the world, established its importance in New York in the 19th century by promoting high-quality pianos, the ultimate symbol of classical music. In 1867, Steinway Hall became a central place for performances and sales of these instruments and deeply influenced the American music scene. In the 1970s, Jane Fonda appears in a black and white promotional portrait, seated at a table in a swimsuit and smiling away from the camera. The actress was already a well-known name in American film and was also gaining attention in public debate. The image captures the fashion, advertising, and visual style of the period. Pizza Hut, founded in 1958 in Wichita, Kansas, represented the expansion of American fast food culture in the post-war era. Its growth during that period, including in places such as Fayetteville, North Carolina, symbolizes the rise of food chains that changed social and economic habits in the United States and influenced the global market. The brothers W. and E. Renshaw, representing England, faced C.M. and J.S. Clark of the United States in the first international Wimbledon match in 1883, marking a historic moment in tennis by establishing competition between countries. This event helped turn Wimbledon into a global tournament and a world sports reference. The Mayer, Liberman and Company store, described as a wholesaler and retailer of food, beverages, and general goods, reflects the growth of urban commerce at the turn of the 19th to the 20th century. Businesses like this helped strengthen local economies in Brazil, expanding the circulation of essential products and the development of the domestic market. Allison Hayes, a standout actress of the 1950s, symbolizes the pop culture of the era shaped by film and emerging television. The decade was marked by television becoming the main form of communication, influencing fashion, behavior, and entertainment in the United States and around the world. Captain Scott's hunting camp in the Washita River Reservation illustrates the expansion of the American frontier in the late 19th century, a period marked by conflict and negotiation between the United States government and indigenous tribes. This setting led to the loss of vast native territories, reshaping the history of the region and its people. The Cheyenne Powwow in Montana, around 1891, symbolizes a vital moment in indigenous cultural preservation, highlighting resistance and identity after decades of colonial pressure. This gathering promoted ceremony, dance, and social unity, reinforcing traditions threatened by territorial conquest and United States assimilation policies. The photograph, dated 1912 and signed by T.H. Shockstro, records traditional Native American clothing with headdresses and beadwork during a period when indigenous cultures were under strong pressure to assimilate. That year marked the height of assimilation policies in the United States. Abraham Lincoln, about to deliver the Gettysburg Address in 1863, a decisive moment in the American Civil War that reaffirmed the ideals of equality and national unity. His words strengthened the fight to preserve the Union and end slavery, marking a milestone in the history of the United States. Al Capone, a famous figure in the United States, appears in this photo taken in Miami near Christmas 1946, just weeks before his death. He was suffering from serious health problems developed decades earlier, symbolizing the decline of underworld figures after the Prohibition era and the growth of illegal networks in the country. The protest at the opening ceremony of the 1960 Olympic Games in Rome highlighted tension between Taiwan and the International Olympic Committee when Taiwan was required to compete under the name Formosa instead of Republic of China. This controversy reflected the global political conflict of the Cold War and affected the international recognition of rival governments. Sophia Loren stood out in Cannes in 1955, the year she became established as an icon of world cinema. The Cannes Film Festival, an important cultural landmark, elevated her career, influencing the appreciation of European cinema and strengthening the international reputation of the Italian actress. This event reinforced the cultural power of the post-war period.